Welcome back to Tickets to Travel, the business of travel experiences. I'm your host, Mario Bauduin, and today's episode is a heavy hitter. If you're into the intersection of live events, ticketing, data, and travel tech, we're welcoming back Joseph DeMarinis, CEO and founder of BookSeats.com, a platform that's been quietly changing the game behind the scenes. Think of it as the connective tissue between your game day ticket, your hotel room, and your flight, all in one seamless booking experience. But today we go beyond the product and into the why behind it. We dive into the early partnerships with teams like the Vegas Golden Knights, Green Bay Packers, and New York Jets, and why NFL teams in particular are finding huge value in BookSeats. Joseph breaks down how their model supports and not disrupts existing hotel and airline sponsorships, how fan travel behavior is evolving, and why booking 120 plus days in advance is now standard for diehard sports fans. We also cover how BookSeats provides teams and sponsors with over 100 granular data points on who's buying, where they're coming from, and how they're spending. That's right, this isn't just about selling a trip. It's about monetizing the entire fan journey and using real travel behavior to create marketing gold. And of course, we get into the B2C side too, how fans are discovering BookSeats organically and what it means when someone from Toronto is traveling to Jacksonville for a Packers game. Yes, that's actually happened. This one's for the ticketing execs, sports marketers, hotel partners, and everyone trying to crack the code on true event travel monetization. Follow us on all the socials, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Tix2 Travel Pod, and subscribe wherever you get your podcast because Tickets to Travel starts now. Welcome to Tickets to Travel, the business of travel experiences. I'm your host, Mario Bauduin, and today we have one of our good friends back on the pod, Joseph DeMarinis, founder and CEO of BookSeats.com. Welcome back, Joseph.
Thanks for having me. Good afternoon.
I'm appreciative that you're back because I think the last time we spoke, I think we were trying to introduce BookSeats. What's your 30-second elevator pitch for what you guys do?
BookSeats, we're an event travel technology company, a live marketplace tech that allows teams, leagues, and properties to create custom fan travel platforms. It enables them to sell to not only their fans, local fans going to see the team on the road, but global audience coming into their market. Most importantly, to monetize this, one thing that they haven't been able to do, not only on the ticket sales, home and away, but the economic impact that's happening in their city, their fans are bringing to others. Data and insights, analytics. There are over 100 different data points that we provide to our partners to understand who their fans are, where they're coming from, where they're staying, where they're sitting, et cetera. And then lastly, it's looking at the monetization of the sponsorship piece. So we're here not to disrupt their existing categories in the airline or in the hotel category. We're actually here to amplify them. So prime example, JetBlue, massive airline partner of the New York Jets. We're here working hand in hand with JetBlue to promote JetBlue flights and routes through the booking flow. We're not looking to disrupt that. So I think those would be the three pillars there on how we're working with teams, leagues, and properties.
That's a pretty concise elevator pitch with a little bit of plug of some of the clients you've worked with. So that's I'm chuckling because I think when we first started talking about this, not many entities had really known BookSeats, but then over the course of, I would say, the last 6 to 9 months, you've signed quite a few teams, and you probably had some conversation with some leagues, but I think did it start with the Green Bay Packers?
So our first client was the Vegas Golden Knights.
Okay.
Just over a year ago. And yeah, definitely, as they say, especially in the B2B sales world, getting your first client is definitely the hardest.
Yeah.
And get your fourth and your sixth. But I think as there's been adoption, early adopters within our industry, and an industry that really hasn't been tapped into or discovered, it was typically more of a sponsorship play in this space. So as we've seen adoption, have had data to showcase and there's definitely been a lot more opportunities and a lot more inbound coming in on teams, leagues, properties, looking to work with us versus us going to source them.
I think football is key. From what I hear when I speak to various B2B people in entertainment in general, the NFL is like the gold rings. That is the toughest, the hardest to really, not to say that MLB and the NBA are not, but because of the physicality around the sport and how short the season actually is, they're not playing 82 games like in the NBA or like 100 and whatever for MLB, that they increases the value because of how short the season is and the value of the entertainment itself in terms of the TV contracts and so on and so forth. So if you started with the Vegas Knights, then it was like the Green Bay Packers, I think New York Jets. Yeah. And so what has been the key, I think, to your success at this point, and still early, which is pretty amazing, of working with these type of teams? What were the things that you were seeing that they were maybe a little skeptical about, or how their older travel relationships were working? So what was the secret sauce here that is starting to let the dominoes fall with certain teams?
Attention sports fans, teams, and leagues, whether it's the season opener, playoffs, or the championship game, BookSeats.com makes getting there a breeze. With BookSeats, you can customize your ultimate sports travel package by bundling game tickets, flights, and hotels all in one easy-to-use platform. No hassle, no stress. Just you, the team, and the game day excitement. For professional sports organizations, BookSeats.com offers B2B solutions to create exclusive fan travel packages, increase fan engagement, build loyalty, and make every away game feel like home field advantage with professionally curated travel experiences. From diehard fans to professional leagues, BookSeats.com is your go-to partner for game-changing travel. Visit BookSeats.com today and make your next sports trip unforgettable. BookSeats, your all-access pass to the ultimate sports travel experience.
Need to level up your podcast or audio content? Expo Travel Media has you covered. From full-scale podcast production to radio promos, voiceovers, and custom sound design, we bring your ideas to life. Professionally, creatively, and seamlessly. Whether you're launching a branded series, need high-impact social media audio, or want to turn your vision into a polished production, Expo Travel Media delivers. Visit expotravel.com for media production inquiries today. Sound better, reach farther, make an impact.
Yeah, I think the Green Bay Packers is our first team or partner client that has gone through a full season on our platform. And I think the biggest kind of shock that most clients and prospective clients that we talk to is typically deals like this require a lot of lift internally that they just don't have the bandwidth to do. So I think the biggest takeaway that a lot of these conversations, a lot of the clients are shocked by is just the minimum amount of lift required to put up a platform. And for us to host it, launch it, service all their customers. And that's definitely gone a long way in terms of how quick we're able to scale and launch. But then also just the amount of effort needed internally within these properties to manage it.
So what were they doing before? Did they have like a travel coordinator and somebody who'd work with different tour operators and travel agents to create packages?
Yeah, we're not in the business to take away jobs, but I think for sure a lot of these properties' response is, yeah, we do this internally, maybe once or twice a year for specific games. And we have a marketing coordinator or some sort of internal employee that they're managing all of this. They're going out and negotiating room blocks and grabbing tickets, or they have fans reaching out to them and they're servicing those fans in some sort of capacity. Also on a corporate partnership side, they do a lot of hosting. And again, they're doing this all internal, which every time I speak to that internal champion, they see our technology and say, oh my goodness, where have you been? So again, we're not in the business to be taking jobs away, but yet they've been either using partners or platforms that do it manual, and they'll scrape together some sort of specific package for 1 or 2 games, and they'll sell it as a group, more of a group outing, or they'll do it internally and more of a fan experience piece versus a monetization piece.
We spoke about that in the first podcast, is that largely the integration of selling a ticket and a hotel room to be an experience, teams, entities, companies, they just throw people at it. And they're just, I'm going to get an army of people to do all these manual pieces. And essentially your technology is pulling API connected hotel rooms, flights, and tickets into one convenient kind of user interface that allows a lot of choice from the fans' perspective. And so I could see why they're like taken aback, like, where has this been? Because a lot of stuff that we talk about on the podcast is, why haven't the big travel guys, the Expedias, the Bookings.com of the world have gone this way? And I think you and I have had these conversations, like, they just don't have any understanding around the ticketing portion to essentially allow them to, you got to capture the experience first and then you book the travel around it. If they had it their way, it'd be disruptive in some way where maybe they get an affiliate relationship after the ticket is sold, right?
Yeah. And all these guys are partners and feed into our ecosystem, and we work as a switch and are bringing in, so allows us the opportunity and allows our customers, our users, the opportunity to not only get the most inventory, but at the best pricing, of course. But I think there is definitely a market. A lot of those big players in the travel category still think about it in this way. And a lot of conversations and friends and network within those organizations, they still think about it as, we're selling travel. The event is an experience that maybe is going on in destination. I'm going to New York with my family for a trip to New York. Oh, the Yankees are playing. Let's add that as almost an activity or experience. Whereas our core customers are traveling for the event. The event is the purpose. The event is the driver. And the data has just continued to pour in and tell us that is, when it comes to experiential travel, foreign music is what is driving the travel versus the opposite.
Yeah.
So we built our solution, our technology off of the ticket first experience or the event first experience, and securing the ticket is as important as securing that room or that flight, if not more important. To do it all in one transaction and in one booking flow, one-stop shop environment versus trying to figure out what to book first, what's going to sell out first. If I don't have one, can I get the other? All those different stresses and worries as consumer on event travel traditionally that we alleviate.
Yeah, I think the one key factor is, and what I noticed through your booking flow, is that the last piece, if I'm going to book a flight, a hotel, the last piece is always the ticket because there's timing around that. And when you say the word sellout, I think that's the other thing that fans are always conscious of, especially in music, right? So when the on sale comes up, I think sports is probably a little bit easier to manage, but I think the equivalent of that is when the football schedule comes out.
Around the corner.
It's coming up. It's coming up.
It's coming up quick.
You said that the Green Bay Packers was the first one that you did this with, who's seen a full year. When that schedule came out, what happened?
We have never seen the unique visitors within a 1 hour span like we did when that schedule came out. It is just a pour in of people having that FOMO feeling. They have the fear of missing out, and they want to ensure that they get and not only plan and piece together that trip, but they are booking. They're booking 120 plus days in advance. They're booking in May for November, and they have the fear of maybe not missing out of the experience, but missing out of those rates, that inventory, all of the above. So definitely schedule release is a big piece of what we do in ensuring that we capture that consumer. And again, one of those key learning pieces as well, understanding teasing to fans within our ecosystem and the team's ecosystem when that schedule is getting released, and to ensure that we're top of mind and educational throughout that process.
You're having conversations with marketing departments at each team, maybe even the league in some cases, about where to inject travel
Yeah.
during
It's
the
a
ticket
key-
sales process.
Correct. It's a key piece of any deal that we do or any partnership that we do. The team will put forth X amount of assets, marketing assets to promote the platform in a joint venture environment. And the main driver for us, again, as we continue to do more of these, we understand and learn consumer behavior. But schedule release and off season is our peak season. There are last minute trips that are booked, obviously all the time, whether it's for Super Bowl or it's for a regular season game. But core consumers within our space are our planners. They have that FOMO effect. They want to ensure that that package is booked as soon as the schedule is out. Yeah, that's what we're preparing for. Last year, we had the Green Bay Packers as our only NFL client upon launch. We're hopeful to have at least 4, if not more, by schedule release this year within the NFL environment. So really excited about that date and that stretch. And the team here is gearing up.
Yeah, I would venture to say you saw significant sales that came through once that schedule happened. So if you do that multiplied by 4 or 5 that you are coming in, that this is going to be a pretty good year for your business, I would imagine.
We're excited.
Yeah,
We're definitely excited. And I think for us as well, we got to think of bandwidth and server space and making sure that we have positive experience for every single individual and user that comes to the platform on whichever domain or whatever platform they're coming to us. That's definitely been another key learning of ours as well, ensuring that we can house all that demand.
Yeah. I'm aligned with you in a lot of different ways as also not just a podcast host, but also a consultant who kind of playing in this world of merging ticketing and travel together. And when you start to have these type of conversations with a league, a team, and so on and so forth, I think it's a little harder for them to understand the travel implications because they're so focused on ticket sales. And so I'm curious, everybody, whether it's travel or ticketing, they're all interested in the data and how to take that data and make smarter decisions that are going to convert for more ticket sales or bookings or whatever it might be. And so I think what I've noticed is that it's a long process, especially on the sports side and entertainment side. And to get to the point of, wow, this is the data that I need. What are the cheat code would be if there's a sports marketer who's listening to this or an entertainment marketer, what are the key data points that you provide with a partnership that's going to probably make their heads explode, simply put?
Yeah, I think each property is different in what they're sourcing, what they're looking for. For example, one property is eagerly looking to fill the hotel category, partnership category. They want to bring on an official hotel partner, and they are leveraging our data to pitch to the potential hotel partners, not only with the data points they have access to, but the opportunity that they have within our booking flow to promote their platform or their property, whether that's at home or on the road, and their hotel chain throughout the booking flow so that they have true ROI on how many room nights, as an example, they have driven and the uptick that has driven through a partnership. Or on the airline side, as an example, general demographic figures, insights are definitely something that all teams are looking for, understanding who that primary purchaser is, who that individual is that's leading the charge, in charge of processing the credit card, or definitely just the demographics of who they are definitely of interest. Those would be the core pieces of the data and insights that we provide. But like I said, each property is different, and each data and analytics team can get more granular on specific items that they're looking for.
From a travel perspective, are they interested in origination destinations?
Oh, yeah.
And they are, and I guess, do you have an example of how they would use that information? I can guess, but I figure you might have some actual hardcore evidence of why that's interesting that X amount of people come from New York City to go to Miami or whatever destination or market that these teams are playing in.
Again, I'll reference the Packers partnership last year, but one data point that got them extremely excited and was an interesting one for us was that over the course of the year partnership, they had bookings from fans from over 10 different countries.
Wow.
Home and away, they were able to connect with global fans. They added 3 new international markets to their marketing territory this year and are looking to potentially leverage the technology to promote the partnership and the platform in order to turn those maybe average fans into avid fans. So definitely the global growth piece. And like you said, the origin piece is for sure ones are looking at. But then on the outbound, also looking at popular destinations. As an example, the Packers were in Tennessee last year, sent hundreds of fans through Packers Travel to that specific game.
Wow.
And so us internally and also the Packers share that information and decide whether or not maybe you want to do anything in destination for those fans on that game day or night before, et cetera, and help reward those fans that are making the trip to round out that experience.
Now, I know there's all these initiatives around season ticket holders, but these are typically not season ticket holders who are purchasing through your platform, or they maybe on a resale basis, they possibly, because
yeah, away games for sure. Those are that core avid fan member within the membership. It's quite interesting you bring that up because we've had some recent questions from some potential partners about just that membership piece and those season ticket members and potentially creating a closed user group for this technology platform so that you're rewarding those core fans versus just opening up to everyone as a tool and an engagement, a reason.
Or a member benefit, the member benefit for traveling fans. Because that, I couldn't think of anything that would make you more of a loyal fan than dropping not just the ticket price, but also lodging and air and everything else that goes along with it. To go to, maybe you know this, do they go, is it one big away game that they go to, or did they look at maybe 2 to 3? What's the vibe?
Again, we're talking NFL in particular, but there's definitely one that they'll highlight as that's the one this year that most will go. The Packers last year went to Brazil, but then the Titans game and the Jaguars game were also high attended events for the traveling fan. But then you have some fans that are going to multiple away trips per year. You have displaced fans that maybe it's easier, more convenient, cheaper, that are going into that home market, just going to an away market that year or a couple of them. So,
it is Green Bay though, Joseph. It gets pretty cold there. So getting to Jacksonville or Tennessee might be appealing depending on when the games are. But no, that's interesting. I think that there's definitely a lot of marketers out there who would kill for the exact data around their travel patterns of certain fans.
Yeah, 100%. And as we get into having conversations within the event specific space, or whether that's a conference, a music festival, a stadium style concert series, if you will, the origin is definitely a key topic of where these fans are coming from and how are they getting here in particular, and how do we connect with them on that next purchase or that next announcement, or identifying those key markets, mainly for digital marketing opportunities.
Well, that makes complete sense. The other piece that you might be able to provide some insight into is the NFL starting to play in Europe a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure that this is something where I know that Miami's playing in Spain and I can't remember who they're playing. This is probably a good time to enter with this type of technology, because trying to understand just every movement, like who's actually at this early in, let's say, NFL Europe is going to be traveling from Miami to Madrid or Barcelona or wherever they're going to have the actual game. Has this been a topic of conversation?
Yeah, definitely a topic. Not only regional fans going out to those markets, but also global fans coming in from across Europe, maybe, or around the world to that specific market. Just again, more of a convenience piece, an experience piece, of course. Definitely one that we're working with airside. We also have the opportunity to work with those specific airlines to promote not only that official airline that's going out there, but also embed specific charters throughout our booking flow, whether it's the team or a hospitality partner wants to integrate directly into our booking flow to help as almost a distribution channel as well.
You bring up a good point just in terms of, have you had travel brands, hotel companies, airlines come back to you in particular? Because it's a little, what's interesting about your technology and being a guy who worked for OTAs, different types of OTAs, is that typically the OTA has a direct relationship with the brands. But because your technology utilizes, whether it be a bed bank, wholesaler, various APIs, you don't typically have the transparency throughout the booking process to show the end supplier that this is a BookSeats booking, which is probably annoying. At the end of the day, have any of those travel brands come to you and be like, wow, we're noticing the difference. Maybe it's a wholesaler booking that's more predominant over a certain game that's coming into a market. What are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, definitely. I grew up in the travel industry, so a decent network within, and definitely starting to have more and more conversations about it, not only on how direct integrations, and we do now have direct integrations with a handful of hoteliers direct, so that there is that transparency and we are able to get the best possible rates and inventory real time and pass that off to our consumers. But also on an OTA level, they're coming to us to say, and they're partners of ours, potentially on...
From a supply perspective.
Correct.
Because you know what I'm getting at. You're competing with them?
Competing with them. Yes, that's fair. But they're also trying to understand how they're able to get into this space, or is this a space they want to get into? And a lot of times working with a partner on understanding how they can integrate is a lot less lift, similar to our clients and our partners, than trying to go and build it yourself. So we're definitely having a lot of those conversations as well, whether it's the hotels directly or the OTAs on this space and how we can support.
Yeah, I think a bit about it a lot, actually, from the OTA perspective, because when I've had those conversations with some of them, they really lump in tours and attraction tickets as a live event ticket. And so what I think happens, and I know this very well because I played in that side of ticketing in travel a number of years, but because there was such a big boost, and I attribute it to when TripAdvisor acquired Viator, and then Viator quickly became a huge part of their revenue that they were reporting on. So then that kind of started this whole process of everybody from a OTA distribution perspective started to get access to these type of tickets. And then fast forward, as we get into it over the last couple of years, they're like, yeah, that was cute. That was good. But it's actually less than 2% of their total revenue. And so when you come in and you say, hey, no, we're talking about live events. We're talking about Taylor Swift. We're talking about the Super Bowl. We're talking about Beyonce. It's really hard for an online travel distributor or an OTA to understand the difference between a walking tour in North Carolina versus a Tennessee Titans playoff game ticket and what that looks like. So I say that because I have this conversation all the time. And I'm always looking for anecdotes to be like, okay, this is the equivalent of maybe a room night, right? It's now the tickets to a football game or a concert, they're not cheap. So this could be, no one goes to a concert by themselves. It's going to cost you $250. So it's $500, 2-night stay, whatever. So I'm trying to find all these sort of parallels for them.
Yeah.
Do you run into this as well?
Yeah, it's definitely been something that we've, again, spoke to with some of these potential partners and suppliers. I think you nailed it when it comes to just the sheer average order value within the event ticketing space versus the attraction space or the activity space. I think we're not selling $3 walking tours in our booking flow or our API or our tech. Our average order value is in the hundreds of dollars, where these OTAs are able to build off that or make off that versus selling a $3 walking tour and have the inventory. I think that's definitely one of the questions that continue to get on a on an OTA side of it, it's in the event ticketing space, there's always that, whether it's the fear of not having enough inventory or any inventory, or ensuring that it's quality inventory. I think for us, that's what we provide, whether it's a Broadway musical or it's a Taylor Swift concert or Super Bowl, whatever it may be, any type of ticketed event, we have the ability to sell. And like I said, I think this leans now into what we spoke about off the top was, hey, I'm in New York City with my family for a trip. We're doing some sightseeing and let me have a look at what's going on in the city. Oh, look at that. There's a Yankees game or a Rangers or a Knicks game. Or look at that. Let's go book our theater tickets versus doing a bus tour or an attraction. And it's a huge opportunity for these OTAs or these travel providers. And we're looking to be that solution for them to be able to plug in. And again, low lift opportunity for them to generate net new revenue.
I think there's a difference between the in-destination piece where you get to New York City, you have to go to the Statue of Liberty. You have to go take the big bus tour and drive around Times Square. And then it becomes, oh, there's a Yankees game. Oh, the Knicks are playing. When am I ever going to get to see them? So I think there's that piece, the in-destination piece, where essentially a live event ticket and the tours and attractions compete for that time. Unless it's like a bucket list of, I live in Kansas and I want to go see the Statue of Liberty, so I'm going to go buy a ticket for that and then I'm going to travel there. But more times than not, it's not on the same level as a demand driver for the Super Bowl. I want to go see the 49ers play the Eagles, so I'm going to go to Philadelphia. So I think it's that distinction that has to be more accepted from a distribution perspective to understand why you would spend the money to resource it and create the API connections to be able to merge the ticket with the already existing travel components.
To go off the driver piece, I think what's interesting and what we have the ability to do is if the OTAs or the travel providers already have the check-in, the check-out dates, they have this key information. We have the ability to serve events in that area during those between those check-in and check-out dates, help them build on that itinerary. And a lot of times I've been in destinations before for whether it's for work or leisure. And it's one of the first things I do, but I'm in the space. But a lot of times people will be sitting there at dinner and say, oh my goodness, I was just at the bar. Someone told me that last night my favorite band was playing here. And it's crap. I missed that. I wish I would have known. So I think that on the OTA side, an opportunity for them to educate consumers on things going on in the area, similar to what they do with the experiences.
Yeah. No, I think we got to have this conversation like 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, because it's going to keep evolving. And you and I at least can say, hey, we were talking about this back in 2024 and 2025. And then it's going to be everyone else's idea at some point, which is good. I think it has to happen. But again, there's been shortcomings on the technology side, which again, BookSeats has solved it to a certain degree. Being able to tie all these ticketing API with a flight API and hotel, of course, and then aggregating all of this data for a client. My next question is really on this looks really clear as a B2B solution for an entertainment provider of any type. How does this play into a B2C? Because obviously you have a brand, it's BookSeats.com. And do you feel like the halo effect of working with a Green Bay Packers or New York Jets has benefited you directly as well?
Yeah, I think we look at it in parallel. It's definitely an opportunity to get some brand awareness, education, but all of these platforms in the B2B space that we have and partnerships, we go into all of them ensuring that it's off the hop. Both parties know that this is a joint venture. We're not here to ensure that your fans clearly know about BookSeats.com. We want them to know about this new solution that we built for them. And we're the technology or the power behind it. Now, at the end of the day, we are the technology. We are the service. They are our customer. So it's on our side to make sure that those customers are educated and understand that there's that Jets trip that they took on Jets Travel. It was powered by BookSeats. And therefore, if they're looking for a Yankees trip or looking to go to Coachella or Kentucky Derby or Super Bowl, and they can come directly to BookSeats.com because we service all events, whether it's in sports or music, theater, etc. So that's on us. It's a little bit of the flywheel effect that we know that we got to do in the consumer engagement piece and the recurring revenue post-purchase consumer to make sure that they're educated on the brand, but definitely focus all of our partnerships on that joint venture style involvement to ensure that both parties we're more of a technology partner.
That's very clear. And I think from a travel perspective, you're doing a huge service for entertainment providers, teams, leagues, venues to pull it all together. On the ticketing side, which I think will be another show to talk about, because there's quite a bit there because the cultures are different in terms of tickets and how travel sees things. Because I feel like BookSeats is in the early days of kind of playing in both of those worlds versus when you start to look at an evolved OTA relationship with a hotel where you go sign them up, you sell the hotel, and then the hotel will be like, hey, Expedia guest, you write down your email address and then we'll send you something direct and an incentive to bring you direct. I don't think you're at that point on either side just yet because bringing a brand new audience in. Yeah. And then on the ticketing side, just knowing what I know about ticketing people, they just want to get rid of those tickets, man, as soon as possible. So it's not like they're going to, oh no, BookSeats just sold too much because they have hotel rooms. I think you're doing them a service as well on that side. But from a travel perspective, you really are bringing in the event travel audience, these type of people who are looking to have these travel experiences.
Yeah. And I think all of our partners that we onboard or do any type of partnership clients, that's one thing that they have from our side is that not only are you promoting this to your fans and driving the traffic and awareness, but we are ensuring that our digital marketing efforts, whether it's our .com, our SEO, SEM structures, and performance is driving its own network of qualified consumers and users. For example, if a fan comes to BookSeats.com through, whether it's Google, through paid social and organic search, wherever it is, they find BookSeats and they look for Green Bay Packers or Vegas Golden Knights or New York Jets, we are going to redirect them to the New York Jets platform or the Packers platform, the official platform, not only because we want to ensure that the team gets credited for that and that they consume all the data that comes through that platform as in the spirit of partnership, but also I think for us as a brand, it allows us to leverage that IP and build that trust with the consumer because that goes a long way in the travel space, as you're aware. We're not selling toothbrushes online on Amazon for a couple bucks here. These are big purchases that consumers are very nervous about, especially in the e-commerce world. And they're spending thousands of dollars with us and they want to ensure that this is, especially in the ticketing side, they want to ensure that this is
it's a real ticket,
a trusted source. And then we leverage the IP from the teams and the properties that we work with to build that trust and give that stamp of approval.
Congrats on all of your success, man. It's still pretty early on, but just to be able to sign some of these teams and really go through a full season, I think should be celebrated. I appreciate you coming back and having chats. And of course, we're going to keep watching the progression here of how BookSeats grows. And one final question.
Okay.
NBA Finals, Warriors or not?
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Your Raptors are nowhere close to it.
Yeah. It should be interesting. I'm looking forward to the second round and onward, but you want me to pick one?
I do. Let's go west and then let's go east. What do you think the finals going to be?
I'd love Cleveland to upset the Celtics, but I just don't know if that's going to happen. So let's just say the Celtics get to the finals and don't say the Anthony Edwards guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. You think the Wolves are going to beat the Lakers?
Huh. And if they do, then I think they have a chance to go on a little heater. But yeah, I don't know about your Warriors, man. I'm sorry.
Come on, man. This should be a prerequisite that you have to be years forward on this podcast. But whatever, we'll see. Jimmy's back. He's feeling good.
Yeah.
We are going to wrap this up in Houston. So I would love to see LeBron versus Steph and Jimmy versus Luka in the second round.
Yeah.
If I was the NBA and I employed referees, I would want that to be the next round. I'm just saying.
Yeah. No comment. One thing I will quickly say is that as an athlete and a big fan of sport and have a number of different teams in every different league, I've become very neutral, and
you have to be
a fan of all of our clients and our partners first and foremost. So definitely support all 8 of them before any others. But I am a Toronto boy. I do bleed blue. The Toronto Maple Leafs hopefully will be able to make some noise.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, I'm an American guy. I don't really pay attention to Canadian NHL. No, I'm just kidding.
It's been a life of disappointment. So hopefully we can do something there.
All right, man. Thank you for coming to Tickets to Travel. We will talk to you soon. Safe travels.
Appreciate you having me. Take care.
And that wraps up another episode of Tickets to Travel, the business of travel experiences. But before you go, let's break down some of the biggest takeaways for sports teams, leagues, and entertainment rights holders looking to turn travel into a scalable revenue stream. First up, event-driven travel is no longer a secondary behavior. It is the primary motivation for millions of fans. Joseph DeMarinis and BookSeats.com are proving that with the right technology, you can meet fans where they are, on the road, and monetize the entire experience, not just the ticket itself. Secondly, data is the unlock. Rights holders now have access to over 100 fan travel data points, from where they're coming from to what they're booking, and how far in advance. This isn't just vanity metrics. It's actionable intelligence to pitch new sponsorships, create smarter marketing campaigns, and activate loyal fan bases in new markets, even globally. Third, execution doesn't just have to be a heavy lift. BookSeats has cracked the code on minimizing operational burden. No more patchwork room blocks or internal coordinators scrambling to package travel for one-off games. Now, you can deploy a branded platform with low lift and high impact while still leveraging your current airline, hotel, and brand partnerships. And finally, travel can and should be a major membership benefit. Whether it's rewarding season ticket holders or turning average fans into avid ones, bundling travel and tickets deepens loyalty and enhances your brand's value. If you're in sports, live music, or venue operations, the message is clear. The future of fan engagement is holistic. It's not just about the seat, it's about the journey to it. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Tix2TravelPod. Until next time, keep innovating, keep traveling, because Tickets to Travel is just getting started. Safe travels.
Attention travel and ticketing innovators. Whether you're a startup disrupting the industry or an established company ready to take your distribution strategy to the next level, Expo Travel is your ultimate partner in online travel and ticketing distribution. We specialize in helping businesses of all sizes optimize their operations, expand their reach, and unlock new revenue streams. And for startups looking to grow, we partnered with top venture capital syndicates to help you secure the funding you need to turn bold ideas into thriving businesses. From refining businesses to scaling operations and raising capital, Expo Travel is here to drive your success. Visit Expo Travel today. That's xpotravel.com for a consultation. And let's transform the way the world travels, one innovation at a time. Expo Travel, because the future of travel and ticketing starts with you.